Have you ever looked back at your life and realized you weren't just taught what to believe, you were taught how to see the world? I'm not talking about doctrine. I'm talking about the lens, the filter, the thing that decides what you notice, what you fear, what you feel guilty about, and what you think things really mean. Here's the part nobody tells you. Religion doesn't just live in your beliefs. It lives in your mental reflexes. These are subconscious reactions produced by old wiring and not by reasoning. And they're very powerful. It gets into the way you interpret coincidences, the way you judge yourself, the way you sense danger, the way you explain life when life doesn't make sense. And the wildest part, you don't even realize it's happening. You just think it's you being you. So today, I want to show you the 3 filters religion installs without you ever noticing, and how they quietly shape the way you see everything. This is important. Let's talk about it. Let's start with the first mental reflex that religion installs: the meaning reflex. You all know this one. Something weird happens, a coincidence, a close call, a lucky break, and instantly your brain goes, wait, is that a sign? And if you grew up religious, you don't just wonder. You feel like it means something. You really think something magical must be happening. Your brain jumps straight to intention, straight to purpose, straight to God's trying to tell me something. That's not you being dramatic. That's a trained reflex that's been programmed into you. Because when you grow up hearing that God has a plan, God has a purpose, God is speaking to you through events, your brain learns to treat randomness like divine communication. And once that reflex is installed, you stop seeing coincidence at all. People even say, there are no coincidences. Now, I've heard that for many years. Everything becomes a message. Everything becomes personal. Everything becomes a part of a story that you think you're supposed to decode. But here's the truth that nobody tells you. Your brain hates chaos. It wants patterns. It wants meaning. It wants a story that makes life feel less random and not so scary. Religion hands you that story before you're old enough to even question it. So your brain grabs it, not because you're irrational, but because this is how humans operate. And this is where the filter kicks in. 2 people can live the same exact moment. One sees coincidence. The other sees divine intervention. The difference isn't about intelligence. It's the lens that they were trained to use. And once that lens is installed, it becomes automatic. You don't choose it. You don't think about it. It fires before you even realize you're interpreting anything at all. That's the first mental reflex religion rewires. the reflex to treat randomness like it's a message. And once you see that reflex for what it is, you start noticing how many signs were never really signs at all. Just shit happening. Now, let's talk about the second mental reflex that religion installs, the guilt reflex. And this one gets into people deeper than they ever realize. You know the feeling. You lose your temper. You forget something. You make a normal human mistake. And before you even think, before you even breathe, your brain hits you with, I messed up. I failed. I disappointed someone. And if you grew up religious, that someone wasn't just a regular person. It was God. That's not morality. That's mental conditioning. Because when you're told you're sinful, broken, flawed, and unworthy, your brain learns to treat every mistake that you make like a moral failure, and it becomes very heavy. Not, I messed up, but I'm wrong. I'm bad. I'm a spiritual failure. That's the guilt reflex. And it fires fast. It fires automatically. It fires even before you even know you're feeling it. And here's the part that hits people the hardest. You don't just feel guilt. You start expecting guilt. You look for it. You assume it. You interpret your own behavior through a lens that says you are the problem. And the hardest part, that reflex doesn't disappear when you leave religion. It stays. People walk away from church, walk away from doctrine, walk away from belief, but the guilt still stays. They stop believing in sin, but they still feel sinful. They stop believing in hell, but they still feel like they're one mistake away from total disaster. They stop believing in God, but they still feel like they're disappointing someone who isn't even there. That's not faith. That's a rewired self-image. You see, religion doesn't just teach you what's right or wrong. It teaches your brain, your very own brain, to judge you automatically, harshly, and constantly. And once that reflex is installed, it becomes a part of who you are. You don't question it. You don't analyze it. You just think, that's my conscience. But it's not your conscience. It's a mental reflex that was installed, not one that you chose. Now, let's talk about the third mental reflex that religion installs in you, the fear reflex. And this one gets into people deeper than anything else. Religion literally thrives on fear. Because if you grew up religious, fear wasn't just an emotion, it was a warning system, a built-in alarm, a constant background hum telling you, careful, watch out. That thought, that question, that curiosity might be very dangerous. Not just physically dangerous, but spiritually dangerous. Your entire eternal destiny is at stake. And once that idea gets into a person's head, it rewires everything. You start feeling scared of things that aren't actually scary at all. A movie, a song, a book, a game, a question. A simple doubt, even your own mind and thoughts. You're not afraid of reality. You're afraid of your own thoughts. That's the fear reflex. And it fires really fast. It fires automatically. It fires before you even know that you're scared. Because when you're always hearing about hell and about demons, about spiritual warfare, Satan watching you, your brain learns to treat ideas like they're threats. Thoughts themselves become scary. And here's the part that hits the hardest. Even after you leave religion, the fear doesn't just leave you. You stop believing in hell, but your body still reacts like it's real. You stop believing in demons, but you still get that little jolt. You get that little feeling of panic when your mind wanders into that forbidden territory. You stop believing in Satan, but you still feel like you're being watched when you question something you were told never to question. This is not faith. This is a rewired threat detection system. It's a form of mind control, and religions do it all the time. Religions don't just teach you what to fear. They teach you that you need to fear automatically, intensely, and silently. Religion teaches your brain how to fear. And once that reflex is installed, it hides your instincts, right? It actually becomes your identity. It becomes part of how you think. It's kind of like it hides inside of your instincts, if you can think of it that way. You don't question it. You don't trace it back. You just think, yeah, that's my anxiety. But it's not. It's a fear someone else taught you to have. Your mind was hijacked. So here's the truth. Religion doesn't just give you beliefs. It gives you mental reflexes. The meaning reflex, the guilt reflex, the fear reflex. They fire very fast. They fire automatically. And for a long time, they feel like you. But once you start seeing them for what they are, once you realize these reflexes were installed long before you had a choice, something very powerful happens. You stop treating every coincidence like a message. You stop judging yourself like you're on trial, and you stop feeling danger in places where there isn't any. And little by little, you start getting your mind back. Your mind becomes free. You start trusting your own thoughts. You start feeling safe inside your own head. You start realizing that you were never broken in the first place. You were just taught over time to see yourself that way. And that's the moment everything changes. Not because you lost faith, but because you finally recognized which parts of you were yours and which parts were never yours to begin with. And that's the real freedom. That's the real clarity. And once you taste it, you don't go back. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I really want to hear from you. And if you want to support my channel in just a very small financial way, you can buy me a coffee. That link is in the description. Until next time, folks, think rationally, trust yourself, and be happy.